Imagine this, you're in a city with transportation such as flying cars and jetpack rides. Well, that sounds exciting, but that's way into the future. But the future for transportation doesn't start here. It starts with sustainable transportation. And we're so excited to present a solution that will showcase Tech Onto into a sustainable future tomorrow. But first, before we do that, let's take a step back and understand our current situation. Tekono is a bustling city with a population of 1 million that already has a transportation fleet with buses and subways, but they want to transition to a more sustainable future and transportation system. Therefore, the key objectives and challenges we'll be answering for you today is first doing an environmental analysis and understanding the optimal solution, understanding how we can successfully build and implement the right infrastructure, and understanding the most effective strategy in the new market. Our overarching objective is understanding how can Tech become a sustainable leader in the transportation space. To do this, we're so excited to present for you today the TTC strategy. So with Think, we'll be analyzing the current transportation system of TechOnto along with future development alternatives. With Transform, we'll roll out zero-emission buses with preventative monitoring, and Communicate will introduce premium cozy cabin and on-demand transit with a Subway Surfer campaign. So to kick us off, Billy will be talking you through the best and optimal solution.
Taking a look at the current fleet within TechOnto, there are 30 subway cars and 1,000 buses, and the key stakeholders that are affected by this are the employees, the tourists, the government, and the day-to-day commuters. Now, when we're looking at a possible solution, you want to make sure that it is going to be impacting not in the long term and short term as well. It's going to be increasing the user base as well as completely feasible. And in order to do this, we made sure that we're combining both a 24/7 subway line as well as integrating zero-emission buses along the entire path. Now, on top of this, our solution, as previously mentioned, is going to be including the premium cozy cabins, which are going to be on all of our subways, as well as a Subway Surfers focused marketing campaign. Now I'll be passing it off to Victoria on how we're going to be integrating this solution.
Thank you, Billy. So before Taekwondo can become a leader in sustainability, it has to catch up to the other cities. And this can be done by implementing the zero emission bus rollout. And this can be done in 4 phases. So to begin with, in phase 1, they have to analyze their current fleet in order to understand what buses will be retired next. In phase 2, you'll see that we'll launch a pilot program, which will allow for us to see what buses are taken out and slowly integrate the EV buses, as well as train our employees. As for a gradual transition in phase 3, we're going to continuously do what we started off in the pilot program. And finally, in phase 4, we're just going to monitor our success in this transition. And so with that, we'll be able to catch up to other cities and implement these EV buses for our entire fleet. Now, that's not enough, though. We want to become a sustainable leader as a city. So how can we do this? Well, with EV buses, they no longer emit CO2 during the average day. But looking through a sustainability lens, we are able to actually adapt their maintenance down. And so what we can't see from this is that on the next slide, I show you that a bus will fail 1.5 times per year. That will demand immediate replacement and will cause early retirement from for a bus. But how can we defend ourselves against this? Well, I'm really excited to show you guys Pretech, a predictive maintenance solution. What Pretech does is that it applies sensors to all the different buses. Collecting the data points, it utilizes machine learning to sort and classify the data. This data is then compiled into reports using AI tools and sent out to technicians, which allows technicians to see what needs to be solved at the next maintenance routine. And so another city has already implemented this. So as you can see from this case study, New York City Transit has implemented Pretech, and that caused a 75% increase in maintenance productivity, and material costs were lowered by 24%. And so by implementing Pretech, now we not only lower our CO2 emissions, but we're able to increase the longevity and life cycle of our bus and increase our reliability while cutting costs. Now I'll pass it along to Dylan.
Thanks, Victoria. So we identified 3 different parties that would be interested in purchasing from the TTC. So first is Inner City Ian. He uses the TTC a lot. He worries mostly about the increase of costs and the time of building more sustainable transportation. Next, we have Commuter Callie. She is concerned with convenience, safety, and comfortability. And for this reason, she tends to drive to work. And finally, we have Busy Brenda, who lives outside the city and commutes via train, or she has her work pay for it. So she's actually not even a focus here. We are focused on converting Commuter Callie and getting more money out of Inner City Ian. So how are we going to do this? First, we are going to add a cozy cabin at the end of subway trains, which will provide a premium experience at an additional fee. So this will provide comfortable guaranteed seating, a quiet environment for work, and enhanced safety and cleanliness, something that Cali really wants. This will also cost much less than driving to work. A round trip driving to work would be around $30 to $40, whereas taking this option would be only $17. So we expect to convert Cali quite effectively with this solution. Next, we are going to extend the operating hours of the TTC to 24 hours. This will provide more utilization out of inner city Ian, as he tends to rely on Uber when the TTC is closed. So with it being open all the time, he'll use it more. So this is also a sustainable solution because the subway cars are run on electricity, and it's also a low-cost solution since all you have to do is run the trains for longer. With that in mind, I'll pass it up to Kushi.
So now that we've been able to truly understand who exactly we want to target, let's think about increasing awareness as well as conversion. This is why we're really excited to introduce the Subway Surfer campaign, directly targeting a currently hot and popular game that has existed for a really long time, so it's great for millennials and Gen Z alike. We want to decorate streetcars, buses, and subway cars to look like the game, and then we also want to introduce live versions of Subway Surfers in areas such as Mall, Union Station, and City Park, and have this very exciting way to get people to really be aware and excited about sustainable transportation. Additionally, we want to use social media to leverage and introduce these new ideas such as the 24/7 subway line and the cozy cabin. We also want to introduce billboards on popular and busy highways such as TTC in Toronto does with the Gardner as well. And then we want to introduce corporate partners. And this is the most important to convert, as we want to partner with companies such as Deloitte to create transit-based sponsorship, as they already do with Pacific Transit, with Ubers as well during busy season. Overall, we are able to guarantee a raising of awareness and conversion of customers to use sustainable transportation. Now I'm going to pass it off to Billy to talk you through our implications.
So looking at what we can expect from this quantitatively, our integration of the subway will only be taking place over the next 4 years, while the buses will be over the next 15, and pre-tech is going to be making up actually a very small share of our overall costs. And we can expect 1,000 fewer cars from this daily, $1 million less pounds of CO2 emitted, and as well $86 million in added revenues. In terms of our implementation, we believe it'll be just under 15 years, with the buses being the longest portion, as well as for the potential risks that we could look after, we really want to highlight the EV range limitation, and which we'll be mitigating by adapting the bus routes for all buses.
So overall, with the TTC strategy, we have been able to introduce a sustainable transition for Tech Onto, and we can't wait to enter the future together.